have just recently gotten a really promising, exciting new feature for SQL Server Management Studio. It is an extension for diagnostics. As of this recording, it is currently in preview mode, and I have downloaded it from Microsoft and installed it. Now that I've installed it, under my Tools menu, I have SQL Server Diagnostics. And what we're going to be looking at is this cool feature where we can, if we choose, use this extension to upload stack dumps if we've had stack dumps on our SQL Server. And we're going to upload that to Microsoft and ask them to analyze our stack dump file in the cloud. And I think this is just a great use. I mean, you need to decide whether or not it's appropriate to share your stack dump files in this way, but if you would be calling support with Microsoft anyway, then this seems like something you're probably going to be comfortable with. So what I'm going to do is open this up, and I've actually already uploaded a few files that you can see. I can immediately, if I want to, go into my upload history, and I can see the dates that I uploaded, what I uploaded, the status, and any comments that they have. I can also clear out my history if I want. And this is from the client tool. I'm uploading and having this analyzed from my client tool. You don't have to do this from the production server at all, because on the Analyze SQL Memory Dump tab, you get to pick lots of things, or at least a couple of things. Get to pick what region to upload it to. And West US definitely is a good choice for me given my location. If you want an email, you can provide an email address, and the email it sends is pretty nice. I've already gotten one or two. And then we select the file that we want them to analyze. Your stack dumps, if you have them, hopefully you don't have these all the time, because very often, not all the time, but very often when you have a stack dump, your SQL Server freezes up while it's happening. These are stored in your SQL Server error log directory. So this is the location where I have mine here. And if I scroll down, see all these sqldump.mdmp files. This is where they're kept. If you're looking at your SQL error log itself and you have a stack dump in the SQL error log, it'll be like, hey, stack dump. So I'm going to grab, let's grab .003.mdmp, and let's get that uploading to Microsoft. So I'm going to send it to that directory and grab, and notice that I had a lot of files in there, but it's like, okay, this is the extension that I know about for these mini dump files. I can't just upload anything. So we're going to grab 003, and I'm going to say open. There we go. And I'm going to then click upload. It does take a while. It's got to go ahead and send it up to the cloud. We've got to find available resources to perform the analysis and the recommendations. This doesn't completely tell you everything that you might be able to learn about your mini dump files. And importantly, there are still some simple things that you can do. Don't just do this part, because, so I uploaded sqldump.003. If I go back to my list, notice that I have other files for this. I've got a log file and a text file. Let's open the text file. I can look at this, and just me, human me, has been provided some information by SQL Server that I can look at. And notice right away, DBCC results, right? We've got output here from DBCC CheckDB against a database named CorruptMe. Back when I ran this, I had purposefully corrupted some data for testing different things with CheckDB and demoing corruption. And we can see in the text file for this, right, it doesn't take a genius to interpret this was database corruption. It also got a mini dump file created with it, and that's what I have asked Microsoft to analyze. Now, it says no KB found, but, you know, I can look at the text file and say, oh, this was data corruption, and oh, we don't have the CorruptMe database anymore because I actually got rid of that. Now, it is saying, hey, You could potentially look at cumulative updates. I'm actually on SQL Server 2016, I think SP1 now. I could compare my versions with these and see what I want to do. But, right, this isn't, in some cases, looking at a mini dump file, if it can specifically analyze a bug and make recommendations, you can look at those and evaluate it. But in this case, it doesn't yet seem to have the capability to be like, oh, you had corruption from CheckDB, you should look at the corrupt me database yet. Looking at my upload history, I actually do have one of these, my 005 mini dump file. It actually did recommend some KBs for me. Now, I really liked picking this because I don't really remember what I was doing when I actually generated this mini dump. Like, I don't know what caused this, but if we look at the KBs, it says one of these is like an error related to a procedure that takes a table valued parameter from RPC calls. I don't remember doing anything like that, but that's interesting. And another one says deadlocks with deferred well, so I actually happen to know that this instance has never been part of an availability group. So it's interesting that that bug is related, but it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And now the final one has to do with a clustered column store index. So these are potentially related things, and it is likely that I was doing something awful to a clustered column store index, knowing me, right? But what I'm trying to say is even when it recommends changes for you in analyzed dumps, you still want to test these before you deploy them to production and make sure they're good. And if you can, monitor for stack dumps when they happen and address them right away, you're much more likely to be able to hone in on, okay, what types of things were we running that causes this? Looking back like I did at a mini dump I generated months and months ago is not always the most helpful thing, and it isn't going to have superpowers in terms of being able to pinpoint exactly what caused it. Another thing, let's check out on SQL Server Diagnostics. Notice the just plain view recommendations option. It tells me I can look through different products and see recent releases with updates, what the fixes are, and what's in there. So I think this is really cool that this info is now closer at hand and more available right in Management Studio. And again, this is still just in preview. This is early days, so really excited that this exists, and really, really excited to see what more comes.